and welcome back to the penultimate installment of Slayers, the Ruby Eye. We've had our ups, we've had our downs, and most of all I think we've learnt some things. One is that I'm really bad at voice acting, and two is that cars won't shut the fuck up whilst you're trying to record things. How dare people have lives that inconvenience me in any way? So, without further ado, let's start this episode of Slayers, the Ruby Eye. Chapter 4, Part 2.
Oh, my sword will certainly make the cut.
Gary, you can't just use the same pun that he just used. Don't you know that the first rule of witty dialogue is never to repeat yourself?
Did you just say something?
I said the first rule of witty dialogue was never to repeat yourself.
What?
I said don't repeat the same joke.
Lena, I can't hear you. You're too far away.
Okay, let's just end this stupid non-canon meta joke.
Wait, I can't see any cannons anywhere.
Oh god, maybe I should just cut this whole gag.
So this is going to end up on the cutting room floor
Well,
then?
anyway, you might be able to cut his hair with that thing, but that's not going to be much good to us, is it?
Lena, I'm trying to fight this guy. Quit cutting in.
Can you just cut it out now?
Are you quite done now? If you think that pathetic blade of yours can cut me, then cut me.
I see you want to cut this short, but since you asked so nicely, let's cut to the quick of the matter.
Gary? Or why are you sheathing your sword? You need that one, buddy. Gary then reached his hand into his pocket and withdrew a needle.
You see, Lena, I have a point to make.
Oh god, he's gone nuts. This isn't punny anymore.
Do you intend on annoying me to death? Or are you going to try to puncture me with that pin?
Well, Zoran was amused at least, which could probably buy us some time. Though I had no idea what Gary was planning.
Oh, now you're just being silly.
Gary stood there, frowning, his sheathed sword in one hand and a pin in the other.
Then, what are you planning? Boy, I can't quite pin you down.
Well, does punishment never end?
Well, I'm simply planning on doing this.
And with a look of satisfaction on his face, Gary slid the needle into the hilt of his sword. What are you doing now?
You'll see.
He twisted his hand sharply, and the blade fell off his sword.
There. Now do you understand?
Oh yeah, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. We're gonna be clowns for the rest of our lives, aren't we?
You do greatly amuse me, but not enough for me to spare your life.
And I won't spare you yours, either.
The look on your face makes you seem serious.
Gary pocketed the pin and grasped the hilt of the sword with both hands.
Then you will die a fool.
The only one dying today is you.
Gary said, brandishing his wooden handle like a fool.
I grow weary of this.
Zoran moved his hand. A dozen flame arms flared into existence, all targeted at Gary. Laughed Gary, somehow
Is
evading
that
them all.
all you've got?
Incredible. Still, he wasn't any closer in defeating Zoran. It didn't matter how many attacks he evaded, he was just prolonging the inevitable. Zoran closed in. The fun and games would soon be over.
Your time has been cut short.
Light, come forth.
My eyes widened as my brain struggled to fathom what had just taken place. Zoram's body, bisected neatly into two halves from head to toe, stiffened for a moment, then crumbled into dust. Gary held his sword in his right hand, where the steel blade had been. Brilliant light shone forth. Is that the legendary sword of light? There was no doubt about it. Gary finished with his work, sheathed the legendary blade. Gary, I said, my voice cracking with my newfound desire. Gary! I broke into a run, trying to close the distance as quickly as my small legs could muster. I stopped short of colliding with him.
Lena?
I stared up at his face, trying to catch my breath. Gary! My heart pounding in my chest.
Lena?
Gary! Give me the sword! Get to me right now!
What? Wait a minute. I thought you were going to jump into my arms and tell me how much you missed me. But you're trying to rob me?
That? Okay, sure, that was kind of rude of me. I missed you? Hello? Now how about I buy that sword off you?
Buy the sword.
I mean, it's pretty old and rusty, and I mean, who would really want it? It's ancient, look at it. So 500 gold, right?
Are you nuts?
Well, okay, because you're my friend, 550. But it's probably been misused a bunch, and it's not worth much more than that. Now, come on, I'm being over-generous here. Don't be so stingy.
You're calling me stingy and you're expecting me to sell you the Sword of Light for 500 coins.
550 coins.
Well then you're nuts and cheap.
Hey, 550 is not cheap.
First of all, this sword is a family heirloom, passed down generation to generation. I wouldn't sell it for any price.
In that case, just give it to me and it'll be my family heirloom. Just so long as it stays in a family, right? Right?
You're fucking insane. I said no. No.
Fine, this isn't working. You absolute monster! How could you treat a little girl like this? I'm gonna cry!
I'm waiting.
Waiting for what? Fine, I'm not gonna cry, but so what? As soon as I had realised what I said, I snapped back to my senses. I took a deep breath. Okay, I'm sorry. The sudden snap back seemed to terrify Gary just as much as the sudden initial snap.
What the?
I have a thing for swords, what can I say?
I, noticed?
Well, I'm better now. Oh shit, Zell.
Huh?
The guy who bailed me out. Hopefully he's still in one piece. There's not much time to explain. Can you help too? I owe him one.
Yeah, sure.
Great, this way!
Yeah. 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 Let go, let go, let go, let go. Yeah. Huff.
Huh?
Haha, we're here to save the day! Except, it didn't look like the day actually needed saving. I had the situation backwards. Rezo's forces were already retreating. Only one ogre and one berserker stood by Dilgear. You know, Gary, we could probably just hang around back here for a bit.
He does seem to have everything handled.
So, who wants to try their luck next? Ho ho ho, you cocky bastard. Why don't you take a look behind you?
Zelgodas glanced over his shoulder.
Well, would you look at that?
He said, his tone dripping with indifference. It was the old guy before, Rodimus, and he'd brought along a friend, someone who I didn't recognise. Quite a suave-looking guy. Actually, remarkably good-looking.
You don't know how grateful I am that you came to save us. We've lost far too many good men to this guy. But now it's all over.
Dilgear said, with a sigh of exhaustion.
Well, Dilgear,
Rodimus lifted his halberd.
you are half right.
He struck out before the wolf could react, sending him sailing through the open air and smack into a tree.
I'm not sure what broke, but it sounded important.
Yeah. One of Dilgear's companions turned to Rodimus, shock etched into its inhuman face.
Have you gone mad? Mad? No, I'm not crazy, if that's what you're asking.
He moved forward with purpose.
I pledged my loyalty to Zelgadis. No matter what bullshit the Red Priest is pulling, I will not stand against my comrade.
He brushed Rodimus in a blind frenzy. A precise swing of the halberd caused the creature to impale itself under its own momentum. The remaining combatants, exhausted and bloodied, took this as a sign to leave. Zelgadis looked up, finally seeming to acknowledge us.
Thank you for coming. But as you can see, I had this all under control.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Just to make things clear, are we all on the same team now?
Said Gary with a hopeful smile.
Sure looks that way. For now, at least.
Said the tall, dark, handsome stranger. Wait a minute. Wait. No, I recognize that voice.
Hey Lena, are you doing alright? You've just gone all pale.
Rodimus, Zolf, I do regret dragging you into this. This is my mess after all.
Zolf, this good-looking guy, Zolf. No, I don't want to believe it.
Lena, what am I going to do with you?
Hey, no head pats. No treat me like a child. Just stop it. Zolf's gaze turned in our direction.
I'm glad to see you've made it.
Oh, I bet you fucking are. This bastard better not think I'd changed my mind about him just because he's hot. All that mattered at this point was that he was an enemy of Rezo the Red Priest too, which made him my friend. An ordinary, good-looking friend, but...
In the interest of maximizing our forces, we should probably make a fresh start. What do you say we let bygones be bygones?
Fine! But... you do have small feet, and you're a third-rate sorcerer, and you're a fucking sadist. But an ally is an ally, and we're stronger together than apart. So, yes, we're allies for now.
Ugh, it's gonna be lovely working with you. I'm sure. I guess I'm not the only one who holds grudges then.
Grudges? Me? Oh, no, you're totally forgiven.
Lena?
All those vile atrocities you tried to put me through, just completely absolved. Especially that Hansi Fish guy. Really absolved from that one.
Lena?
In fact, you got double forgiveness for that one. No, the only people who hold grudges are the ones who let their pride get the better of them. It warps their minds and twists their personalities. But for all the grudges you hold, I can't see what's worth being proud of. Just because you're...
Lena? Not to change the subject or anything, but you and I have some catching up to do. What did I miss?
Blech. Oh yeah, I haven't told Gary any of the details yet. Okay, starting from the moment we first got separated. Well, I was running away from the giant fiery inferno and Zell was chasing me. Then we went into the had some toast and brushed my teeth. So then I started singing the alphabet song. And then I started singing the teddy bear song because I would just keep the rhythm going as fast as it could go. And then you showed up. I finished and waited for a response. None came. Gary? Any questions? He looked. No, stared, glassy-eyed. Through me rather than at me. I realised everyone but me was sitting on the ground. I guess they were all worn out from the fighting? And sheesh, I thought I had a problem with stamina.
You know?
Rodimus said, staring at a series of tally marks he had made on the ground in front of him.
You have been talking, non-stop, for over an hour.
Wait, have I? They all nodded unanimously. Really? Huh. Well then, you all got the gist, right?
We got so much more than the gist.
He said, climbing to his feet slowly.
Oh, I have a question.
said Zelgadis, raising his hand. He climbed to his feet.
Will you now be handing over the Philosopher's Stone?
No, we won't be handing over the Philosopher's Stone. I haven't ruled out the possibility that you could still be working with Rezo, remember? And even if you're not in cahoots, he wants the stone to restore his sight, and you want the stone for vengeance. Both of which are pretty selfish actions.
Oh, don't you judge me, girl, unless you want to incite a war.
I don't want to incite a war. But you've heard my side of the story. Can you really blame me? We're not going to hand over the stone. That's all there is to it. And if that makes me your enemy, then I'm your enemy.
I was hoping that this all could be dealt with peacefully.
Said Zelgadis, drawing his sword.
But it seems you have given me no choice.
You could walk away from this, right?
Gary growled, his hand on the hilt of his blade. I guess he knew what was about to happen. Oh, come on, we just agreed to be allies. I mean, jeez, guys. Zolf and Rodimus took their places either side of Zelgadis.
You two, fall back.
Rodimus obediently took a step backwards. And grinned.
But
Zolf stuttered.
I said, fall back.
Zelgadis repeated. Dejected. Zolf withdrew. Oh, come on, guys, this is so stupid. We literally just agreed not to do this. Neither combatant took their eyes off each other. Seriously, you morons, we have all the time in the fucking world to kill each other. And you're too busy fighting each other to deal with a bigger enemy out there who could be anywhere.
The young lady has no idea how right she is.
The voice, as sharp as glass, came from behind me. No, right beside my ear. I felt something dark and cold make its way up the back of my neck. I knew instinctively if I even flinched, I would die.
Rezo.